will dance, I will sing to be mad for my King. Nothing, Lord, is hindering this passion in my soul. I will dance, I will sing to be mad for my King. Nothing, Lord, is hindering this passion for my soul. And I'll become even more undignified than this. Some would say it's foolishness, but I'll become. Anyway, one of my favorite stories in the Old Testament is one when King David was bringing the ark back to Jerusalem. And Marcy and I have stood in the, well, several of you have stayed with us at a bed and breakfast that was right where the ark was stored for a time. Let me just tell you the story first. So it's out of 2 Samuel 6, 5-11. It says, and David and all the house of Israel were celebrating before the Lord with songs and lyres and harps and tambourines and castanets and cymbals. And when they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, Uzzah put out his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen had stumbled. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God struck him down there because of his error, and he died. He died right there beside the ark of God. Now, David was really angry because the Lord had broken out against Uzzah, and that place is called Perez Uzzah, which means not Uzzah friendly. No, I'm just kidding. Perez Uzzah. And David was afraid of the Lord that day, and he said, how can the ark of God ever come to me? So David was not willing to take the ark of the Lord into the city of David, but David took it to the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite, and the ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite for 3 months. And the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and all his household. So Marcy and I, several of you, as I said, have stayed at the place which is really believed to have been the house of Obed-Edom, or very near it. There's a Catholic convent just right above where we stayed that is making kind of in honor of Obed-Edom, and we've been on the ancient road where David took the ark back to Jerusalem, and believe me, it's uphill all the way. It would have taken a long time. Quite an incredible thing. So, but halfway up on the way to Jerusalem, 7 miles away, Uzzah reaches out and tries to steady the cart. He falls down dead. Basically, God says, don't touch this name. Don't touch this. He falls down dead as a doornail. David freaks out, gets angry. He says he knows something's not right. He's afraid of the Lord that day and wondered how in the world he would ever bring the ark of God to Jerusalem. So he took it aside, stores it at the house of Obed-Edom. And Obed-Edom and all his family are super blessed. I mean, the kids stopped playing video games, and their marks started going up in school. They started helping out around the house. All his crops just produced doubly. It was amazing. And even Mrs. Obed-Edom fell in love with him all the more. So for 3 months, the crops, everything blessed. And it says in 2 Samuel 6, 11-15, it was told to King David that the Lord had blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that belongs to him because of the ark. And so David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom. He did it with rejoicing. Those before the ark of the Lord had gone 6 steps. They were carrying it. He sacrificed an ox and a fattened animal. David danced before the Lord with all his might. And David was wearing a linen ephod. And so David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the shofars. So what happened? Well, for one thing, the law described precisely how to move the ark of God. And it was not on a cart, even a new cart, pulled by oxen. Like, really? So they didn't do that again. They did the way it was prescribed, on the shoulders of the priests, poles put through the ark, carried by the priests, and everything went fine. 6 steps, they made a sacrifice. 6 more steps, made a sacrifice, and so David was just celebrating and rejoicing and dancing, and well, it took a while. Have you ever noticed God is never in a real hurry? Because he's never late. He's always on time. So he's on his time, but he's never late. And so the ark came to the city, and when it entered the city and all the dancing was going on, David's wife Michal she noticed David dancing, and she was pretty disgusted. She thought, how has he honored himself today? And but David said, hey, basically, it was before the Lord I was celebrating, and you know what? I'll be more undignified than this. I'll be more undignified than this when I celebrate before the Lord. That was in verse 22. And you know, all that we would have that attitude, that we would care more about what God thinks of us than people. I remember when I was first in ministry, Marcy and I had gone down to a worship conference, and this is all pretty new to us. And at one point, the speaker called up all the men in the audience, the men, to come up front and take a knee, which I did. I was one of the guys. And so, come up, take a knee. But then he said, and now, men, and he played this song. I will dance, I will sing to be mad for my king. And what happened was, he said, men, everybody, let's dance, men. And I'll become even more undignified than this. Oh, some will say it's foolishness, but I'll become even more undignified than this. All the men stood up and danced, except me. I couldn't do it. I was thinking, Marcy's laughing at me. That's the only thing that was flying through my head. Marcy's laughing at me. I couldn't dance. I can't dance. What? And I was just like full of this thought. I couldn't do it. And then I broke through. I thought, you know what? I'm going to be like David. I am just going to dance despite her laughter. I'm going to dance before God, my maker. I'm going to dance before him. And when I decided to just start dancing, the music stopped and the meeting was closed and it was over. I missed my opportunity. And so I talked to Marcy about it later. And she goes, laughing? I couldn't even see you. She couldn't even see me, let alone laugh. But doesn't that sound very much like the enemy that snake Lucifer is and all his hordes? Natter, 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 natter. Marcy's laughing at you. They're laughing at you. It could have been farthest thing from the truth. If anything, if she was proud of me for going up in a good way. Wow. Next time the Lord wants you to praise him with some abandonment, maybe in some undignified way, just go for it. Whether it's in the living room where nobody can see you, or even at a gathering of God's people. Don't do it for men to see you, though. Don't do it for people. You know, the heart of the matter is always a matter of the heart when it comes to worship. Do it for him, for worship and praise for him. Turns out Obed-Edom, you read later on, he was so blessed to have the presence of God dwell in his house. When they took it away, what he became? A doorkeeper in the house of the Lord. He just wanted to be close to that presence. I will dance, I will sing to be mad for my king. Nothing, Lord, is hindering this passion in my soul. And I'll become even more undignified than this. Yeah, I'll become, hey, even more undignified than this. So na 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 na, hey.